Men. I played college football, played defense, and the defensive coordinator, Coach Delgaze, would call us men. I've been called men before. I've been called a man many times. But when Coach Delgaze said men, something very different rose up within me. Maybe it was the way he said it, or maybe it was because he said it, but there was something very powerful when Coach Delgaze said men. And he said it just like that, very short, and it came from his hada, his gut. When Coach Delgaze said men, before he laid down our assignment, addressed us, I felt not only in my heart, something very primal in my body, something very grounded, something very animal, something very conjoined, something very tribal, very belonging, that word, men. I knew I was about, and I was a part of, a very, 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 very old and long tradition of men. And it wasn't just football. Football just was an emblem for what men were all about and what we did. At least that's what it meant to me then. But also when he said men, I felt it up here too. It wasn't just my body, it wasn't just my gut, it wasn't just my balls being connected to primordial man, but it was my head. Something about when he said men, let me know that we had a mission. We were going somewhere. I'm putting on my helmet. I'm smashing through barriers. We're going to win together. We're going to do this together. So that word men both stimulated my body and stimulated my mind. It gave me grounding and it gave me direction. We live in an interesting time right now, men, where depending on the context and the content of the conversation and the people in it, you say men, and there are many different associations. There's a term that's being thrown around these days called toxic men, toxic masculinity. Interesting. Toxic is the word that we use with regard to men that live on a toxic fucking planet. Yeah, it makes sense. What isn't toxic that comes out of a toxic womb? We live in a polluted planet. So are men toxic? Or the womb from which we come from, even our mothers, toxic? And you can look at that metaphysically or psychologically, or you can consider it physically, because I don't see the difference between the two. They're one fucking thing. And if our water's polluted, and our air's polluted, and our food is polluted, and our moms are polluted, yeah, we're fucking toxic. It's a toxic world. But we're still men. So there's so many things I want to share with you guys this week. This is the paramount. This is the culmination. This is the graduation. This is the peak point for me in my life right now. A lot of you guys have followed me on YouTube and on the internet, and you're probably familiar with the dark places I've been these past few years. Of course, I showed up like a light. Elliott Hulse, yo Elliott, 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And then I took myself down. I took myself down into a dark place, and like I say, the body is the mind, so it didn't just show up in my soul, that dark spot, that grieving hole. It showed up in my body. For a strong man to lose both arms, popping both biceps, And my Achilles tendon means I must have been sacrificing something in that moment. Take my arms, take my legs. I want to feel that darkness. I want to feel that pain. Because I know that in that pain, in that darkness, in that womb, there's a rebirth, and it's always available. And the only way I can bring anything back to light is to navigate the dark. Those dark days are over. Not just for me, but for men, for mankind, for the planet. The sun is rising. S-U-N-S-O-N. Suns, we're rising. We're making a resurrection. We're rising up out of the toxicity that toxic masculinity has risen up out of and presides on right now. But not so that we can wallow in the waste, but so that we can be reborn through this darkness. Yeah, it's a dark time, but it's always darkest right before the sun rises. We are straddling two ages, men. You guys might not know this, but your soul knows. This is all about a remembering, but you've come back here at this time, in this moment, for this reason. We are the dawn breakers. We are the integrators. Every single one of us that have incarnated in the flesh in this particular time came here for one of just a few reasons. It's either to watch and marvel at what's happening. And marvel is the right way. Fear is what gets us trapped. Because all I can do is look with awe as planes fly into buildings and children starve. It's a toxic world. Some of us came here not just to watch, but to lead. When we remember why we came here, we realize that our light is the light of the planet. Our rising is the rising of the planet. Our rebirth is the rebirth of the planet. All men worldwide is represented by the microcosm in this room. Yeah, I like what I see.